a battle for the sons. You all know how, as mothers, having our sons grow up to be responsible men in life is that important to us. We are willing to go any extra mile just so that they can be productive persons in our society. And whether you are a single, you're raising sons as a single mom, or as a married woman with a father present. Some are lucky, some are not so lucky. It is a challenge raising our boys, and especially black boys. It is my prayer that our hard work as mothers will not go in vain. Welcome to another edition of Issues by Elsie, and thanks for stopping by. If this is your first time, please do not forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that when our videos are released, you will be the first to get them. We live in a society, especially in the Western world, where it's becoming increasingly messy in trying to raise men who will fit or take their place in society and simply be responsible people. As mothers, we have such an impact on our sons, but sometimes we can only but do as much. If we are single mothers, we want them, maybe they have deadbeat dads. Our prayer is usually that they will not end up like their fathers. But it's usually still very challenging because we do have boys who step out there in our societies. If your son is not dealing with bullying in school, he or she will be dealing with some form of harassment, sexual harassment, having girls flogging them, especially if they are cute or handsome. You have all these, sometimes they are laced or fine and want so desperately to belong in gangs or fall prey and become gang members. And so if you are not paying attention, you have these children falling into crimes, doing drugs, and there is simply such a challenge raising the black boy. It's such a big challenge. And if you are a mother and you do not have that challenge or have not faced it, you need to go to church and offer a big offering on behalf of your sons, because you might never understand. You might never understand. And just like I said, if they are not being bullied in school, they are being lured into gangs, they are being lured into selling drugs or doing the drugs. Some just simply want to be lazy and not ambitious for anything, especially maybe if they are going through depression or are dealing with a deadbeat dad or can't just even understand what is going on. You have some that have simply just been destroyed because we as parents, we fail to do our part, to be honest. And even sometimes you do your part so much But at the end of the day, it's still left for these children to accept the correction, accept the molding, accept whatever it is we are telling them. There's this particular story that comes to my mind. A young guy, I think at age 14, he was being tried as an adult. What was the reason? Apparently at age 14, as an immigrant, allegedly, he had gone to school, had all this potential of playing maybe soccer or one of the games, and was doing very well in it. And so he had all these girls flogging on around him, and he said to have been dating one of the girls and ended up kissing her, whatever it is. And something happened around in the relationship, and so he didn't want the girl again. It's like he dropped this white girl. It was a black boy. He dropped the white girl and probably went for the next girl. And it didn't sit well with the girl who had been dropped. So she probably went into her family, and as it is always the case, when it involves black boys, when things are not going the way that the so-called girls want it, then these allegations of rape, abuse, assault, it comes up. And so yeah, the girl came up with the allegation, and it took a toll on the family because, first of all, it was scary that the boy was at 14, age 14, was being tried as an adult. In other words, if he was found guilty of the crime, he was going to be going for quite a long time. It meant that his aspirations as a football or a soccer player, allegedly in a career, whatever were his ambitions and where he wanted to be in life, was going to just be destroyed. It also meant that his freedom, if at all he was tried and found guilty, his freedom would be eventually taken away from him. So the parents didn't have money and had to hire a lawyer, and so they ended up, went out to do some GoFundMes and all that, and eventually they found a lawyer. And what was interesting is the fact that the 14-year-old guy, he admitted to kissing the girl. But he admitted and said it was mutual. They had a thing, or they were dating or whatever. And so, luckily for him, when they went to court and everything was tried, he was set free from it. But I guess he was lucky to have gotten off. If you study the history of this nation and many others who probably did not have parents to go for GoFundMes at the time, I know of many situations where people have served 35 years. I remember some years back, a friend of mine, his cousin came out after serving 35 years because back in the day, or at the time, this 18-year-old girl just stood and said, yeah, he raped her. And that was it. The girl just pointed him up in the rear, and he was gone for 36 years. And just for later on to be found that it was a lie and all that. But these are the challenges. I said, raising a black boy in our today's world is even more difficult. It used to be difficult back in the day. It's not any better now. But as parents, we continue to do our best. I am saying this because even when you think that you are a parent, you are on top of the game, especially as a mother, you might soon discover that you are really not on top of the game. And so you have to constantly pray. And one thing I have seen is you can't stop talking. The story I just told of a 14-year-old boy, if you are a parent like I am, see how it's acceptable for your 14-year-old to go kissing somebody's daughter. Let's keep other things aside. Let's keep whatever aside and just focus on being parents for the meantime. If you are raising a son, black, white, orange, or whatever, but I'm speaking particularly to our black sons because the system is harder on them. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. So you need to be harder on your kids if you're raising a black boy, because it ain't easy with them when they step out there. You can disagree with me, but if you take it the hard way, like I believe, then you will be saving yourself a lot of trouble. Because I have boys in my house, and what I tell them is, you ain't got no business, I don't even care at what age, touching somebody's daughter. Let alone at 14, you are accepting and acknowledging that you went kissing somebody's daughter. It's a no-no. And I be, even a black parent, yeah, I sue you. We need to tell our sons to do better and to keep their hands off girls. The irony is, which I believe was the case with this boy, you had these girls flogging onto him because he was a soccer or football star in school, which is usually the case. And so there's always this myopic mindset of, oh, he's cute, he's a star, and you have some of us as immigrant parents so naive and filled with complex, right? When we see our sons come around with these white girls, you will hear some foolish statements like, his girlfriend is white. What difference does that make? Who gives a hoot about it? Except that when things don't work out and the white girl allegedly flips, then we can't tell the story any longer. Have there been good relationships with white and black girls? Of course. But I'm talking about us raising our black boys and facing the reality that we are faced with in a society where raising them and just trying to be a black boy is real. If you're raising a black boy, whether he's driving, not driving, you know that you will have to teach him when the police pull over, he just has to comply because you want him coming home. It's not any arguments or trying to prove to be right, because others who have tried to prove to be right have not even come back. And whether there are videos showing the perpetrator or whatever, when you are dead, you are dead. So we need to teach our black boys and keep ringing it in their brains that they have no business at 10, 12, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, oh yes, 22, whatever. You have no business going and touching somebody's daughter. And if they are flogging on you, which is always the case, especially if your son is cute. Now, being cute too is allegedly, or let me say, it all depends on anyone. Yeah, there is a standard, let me put it like that, of cuteness, and whatever is that standard, we're not going to be discussing it here. But you and I know that it's a thing where if you have a cute son, you have all these girls flogging around. If your son has potential, is an A student, you always have these girls who are flogging around and coming around, wanting to date or to be dated by them and things like that. But when things don't turn out right, then they bring out these allegations and simply ruin the black boys. simply ruin the black boys. I remember in one of my videos I told you of a story where the guy got a scholarship as a football player and was ruined because he had all these girls who came accusing him of sexual harassment at a party. The story I told about the 14-year-old admitting to kissing somebody's daughter is a no-no. Your son at 14, and just as I have enumerated, has no business kissing anybody's daughter. And you may not agree with me. I don't even care. But you need to tell them. We need to be firm and tell our kids so that when the consequences hit, we would have our peace. We will have our peace. And like I always tell my sons, no kissing, no touching, no fondling, no friends, no female friend. Oh yeah, I'm that hard. I'm that hard. I have gotten to the point where if you ask my son, the oldest, he will so enumerate the things, and I always tell him, I'm like, you have no business having a female friend. I don't care. Whatever. No, you don't. Go and have male friends and stick to male friends and stay with male friends. For now. Till further notice. And I know somebody will say, oh, it's so hard and everything. Yeah, it's hard. But if you're emotionally immature and everything like the 14-year-old I talked about, and if you are a parent so naive and think it is okay for your son at 14 to get out there, especially as a black boy, and go kissing some white girl or even kissing a black girl at that age, then I say you have a problem. I'm not against your parenting skills, but don't be surprised when the lawsuit slams your face. Will our children do what they want to do? Oh yeah, of course. They always do. I have mine flipping pencils, shooting things, reacting in different ways. That's boys for you. But I do believe that if we're going to succeed in raising these boys in this Western world, as black single moms, married moms, grandmothers with the responsibility of raising black boys, then we're going to really hit it hard on them as to the do's and the don'ts. And guess what? There's so many don'ts. They may be uncomfortable with it, but if they would listen and simply follow, then they will save their lives. The 14-year-old guy was lucky to get off. Many have not been lucky to get off or won't get off. Right? And we do know that even 14 years or younger in the history of this nation of America have been lynched. Oh yeah. It's such a challenge raising the black boy. We just have to say our prayers and keep talking and keep praying and asking God for mercy. But if you have a black boy and you are raising a black boy, you can't blink, because the minute you blink, you will cry. As I speak to you, I'm not only speaking from experience, but I'm also speaking because I think I'm facing and continue to face that challenge. And I believe even talking about this is therapeutic for me. Am I laying down my guard as a parent? Oh, hell no. It's such a fight that I need to take it to I've taken it to the devil's doorstep. And I'm right there at the doorstep. I'm not waiting for the devil to come meet me. Oh, I take it right to the devil's doorstep because I do understand what is it I'm dealing with. And so should you. And black boys need to be more aware. And whether we think or claim that it shouldn't be that way, or that the society is hard on them, or whatever it is, there's the discrimination and everything, well, it's what we are faced with. So we might as well deal with it and tell them to be conscious and act right for the betterment of their lives and for their safety and whatsoever, until the laws continue to gradually change. Let's do what we can rather than fight and try to claim to change what we really cannot. How about we just have our boys acting right rather than trying to fight the system to get them off after crimes and things have been committed. That's the angle I'm coming from. And plus, when they do well, then we are happy, because we do not want those of them that get involved with these drugs, don't get it right, they're still in our homes at 30, 32 years, 40 years, and trying to fight with us, and we are still feeding them and stuff like that. Whereas if we did put our foot down about them growing and being right to become responsible, then they should be really out of our houses by 18, 20 or after college, and get the hell out and go somewhere and just be men. That's the essence of raising them. We don't want liabilities in our homes. That's just what I'm saying. It is a challenge. And so let's be hard on them, chastise them, but show them the love and pray and ask God for mercy. There is the increasing need for our boys to be raised right. It's rather unfortunate that many men are shying away or just booting out and not wanting to be part of it. But we do encourage that the other men who see the need should step in when these deadbeat dads are not there, and simply, whether you're an uncle, a stepfather, or whatever, a father, keep doing your best in helping, because we really need our sons to grow up right, or it will mean that our daughters won't have the husbands that we really desire that they will have. The society is so worked up. We need to play our part in raising our black boys. Oh yeah. It's such a challenge, but it's doable. Post your comments and tell me the challenge you're facing with your black sons or with your sons as they just navigate this life, adolescence, adulthood, what you have been dealing with or you're currently dealing with. There are many on depression, there are many facing bullying, there are many just giving up on life. There are many in gangs, there are many. It's such a challenge, but like I said, as mothers especially, we can't give up. We have to keep talking, we have to keep counseling, we have to keep praying, we have to keep speaking the truth to them, telling it the way that it is, and hope for the best. Thanks for watching.
I invite you to keep regular dates with me on my new series of Issues by Elsie on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
And thanks for joining me on this journey